The story of Nelson Mandela. In 1918, deep in the rural village of Mvizo in South Africa, a boy named Ralilela Mandela was born. His name in Xhosa meant troublemaker, which turned out to be fitting. He grew up herding cattle and listening to elders' stories about African kingdoms before colonial rule. These tales planted in him a sense of pride and the dream of freedom. As a young man, Mandela moved to Johannesburg, where he studied law and became involved in the African National Congress, an organization fighting against the system of apartheid, which brutally segregated South Africans by race. Under apartheid, black South Africans could not vote, live in certain areas, or even walk freely without carrying a passbook. Mandela decided he would not accept this system quietly. At first, he believed in peaceful protest. Inspired by Gandhi's philosophy, he organized boycotts and strikes. But when the government responded with violence, killing unarmed protesters in events like the Sharpeville massacre of 1960, Mandela made a difficult choice. He helped form Umkhonto we Sizwe, the armed wing of the ANC, and began acts of sabotage against government infrastructure. In 1962, Mandela was arrested. The government put him on trial for treason, where he gave one of the most famous speeches in history. He declared, "I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society. It is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." The court sentenced him to life in prison. 27 years behind bars. Mandela was sent to Robben Island, a bleak prison surrounded by icy waters. The guards tried to break him, forcing him to do hard labor, sleep on a thin mat, and forbidding him from seeing his children grow up. But Mandela refused to let prison crush his spirit. He educated fellow prisoners, taught them politics, and even persuaded the guards, treating them with dignity until they respected him. For 27 years, he remained behind bars, a symbol of hope for millions outside. Freedom and leadership. By the 1980s, global pressure on South Africa grew. Countries imposed sanctions, people marched worldwide, and the cry "Free Nelson Mandela" echoed across continents. Finally, in 1990, the government released him. When Mandela walked out of prison, he did not call for revenge. Instead, he chose reconciliation. He negotiated with the same government that had locked him away and in 1994 became South Africa's first black president in the country's first democratic election. As president, he surprised the world. Instead of punishing his enemies, he worked to unite the nation. He invited his former jailers to his inauguration. He used symbols like the Rugby World Cup, a sport loved by white South Africans, to bring people together. His legacy. Mandela showed that true leadership is not about power, but about forgiveness, resilience, and vision. He proved that even decades of injustice cannot harden his heart with hate. Today, he is remembered not just as the man who ended apartheid, but as a world-changing leader who taught us that peace and unity can be stronger than bitterness and revenge.